Okano, Ewisia, and then so as of chairman Masamba Bio. But the Okano Jumedi and a Ebrewo, and then Alicia de Mudo. Or say, how to prolong the lifespan of a car. How to prolong the lifespan of a car. Mamika me humra, na mene a benefit and tenacity. Na yendu mo sukwane yehu enuama esesem nu mienu yeye na emaka na ya tisika boden e de atono etumi ache e de amayen me kwa kwaje aboafo nka atono bomode se obe like video no obe share na wa subscribe udu comment section ho a chiro bibi to ho ma me what you say me ba na yetumi esua ade me din dia sofo chairman ma we mfi bitwa me ho aba me ba ye betenas Mwakwaba eba Okano Jumedi so ebusia me gidi se obia ho ye e wo bebia wo a wo hweme me pa che obo modern se wo be share link no ama obi wa like na we ja wo comment e wo comment section ho me pa che wo asem bi se bia wo de to wa e ba be yiwa no me pa che obo modern se wo be frɛ obi na waka che ne se asofo chiame enen so matena se ye be twetwe nkomo afa ye hyen ye kasa hodo a ye yusu me pa che nipa bia yusu ka nea oni ka ono ankasa atono ebia na otwi obi ka wonso a wontwi obi ka ebi kura won trust ye chida me pa cho onso ofro ka esane se ye daada dwumedi a ye die no eye ka ena ede ye nko ena ede ye mba ye pese ye sua ade e wo ka ne dwumedi so se de be ye beboa me na boa wo na ate akwanhia hodo ene nnuemu bi a ye nim emfa ehyen ho no ye behu na etumi aboa ye mienu nyina Ewade nhiraw no ye okese se ene wonya adaje na ohwe wo car no dwumedi ene me no etwetwe nkomo efri the I garage enkomo twetwe no mini CEO of the I garage ena ebetwetwe nkomo ben ye betwetwe no ene me pese yesua de efa kwan a se ye to car ye be maka no etumi ache Obroni say how to prolong the lifespan of my vehicle. What to car? Ye pese ye hwe se car na wato no. Ubetumi ahwe so ama na che. Ubetumi ahwe car no so we use na aboa emretenten mu ana. Eno na ene yaba the I garage. Ye ni enimdifo obetwetwe nkomo. Na omo ama yehu ennuema baaku mienu a esese ye no wo car no ho. Na etumi aboa se de be ya car no the lifespan no e betumi a prolong no enu nti ene me ne CEO ena ebetwetwe enkomo the CEO of the I garage. Dada, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Been a long time.
Yes.
The I garage. Please your name. Okay, so you look into the camera and then you tell my people your name.
My name is Kosi Dagwe.
Kosi Dagwe.
Good afternoon to everybody who is watching or listening to us from your various locations.
So, it was your phone, you know, about no. Na, and then, many director, Mr. Kosi Dagwe. Aha. Many no young common. Ebe ya brofuni twi. Enti mpacho, nenti a eye sa ne se. Ye nuanum binom wa manone a omo hwe omani agi program no ho a omo nso omudi ekire ye de local dialect ye twi no eya they do not understand and then me mix no what I say te ya na odi achem. So since we are here in the I garage, somebody may ask, what do they do over there when you hear the I garage? Do they sell cars? Do they repair cars? Do they mold cars? So you just summarize your services to our viewers, our listeners, and myself.
Thank you very much. So the I garage is basically into car servicing and repairs. That is one of them. We are also into training of both technicians and car users. Car users, I mean drivers. Technicians, either those who have finished higher learning of education, that's the technical schools, the technical universities, or the universities themselves who want to go into or who have studied automobile engineering, but do not have the practical know-how. So they have done the theory and they want to kind of do the hands-on so that they could become employable or they can become employers themselves. So we are into training of such people. Then we are also kind of trying to do some embedded systems. It's like to kind of be able to communicate with the vehicles even when they are not in our premises, because our focus is to be of more of predictive and preventive maintenance. So the vehicle doesn't need to come to our garage before we know what is happening to it. You know, we are in the age of AI, artificial intelligence and all those things. So we are going ahead to be able to kind of communicate with the vehicles, kind of preempt issues before they become, or identify risks before they become risks. So, but like in summary, we are into car service. Anything cars, electricals, mechanical issues, air conditioning issues, body and paint, iGarage is the place to come.
Okay. Anything I will see, I don't know, director Kano. Me pacho omo ye car ho adwuma bibia fa wo car ho bia se opese wo spray car no se opese osesa car no ne mood opese osesa wo engine opese o ye overhauling opese o service wo car opese o ye bibia ade bia opese o ye car ho bia wo ba the I garage wo betumi aboa wo me pacho answer ne ye be buawura dwumedie ne mo no se opese wo so dwumedie na sene na wo ma dwumedie no ekonkan na eboa afofra pacho obefrɛ mpenifo na mesi no gu screen ase obefrɛ na one atwetwe enkomo 0249 590427 0249 590427 woni yɛtwetwe enkomo na yetumi abawaso na waboa yɛn asodwumedie na ase de amaye. So that may we know the location of the I garage?
Yes, please. Our garage is located at Adenta Frafra, precisely on the Adenta Dodowa Road, just about 1.5 kilometers from the Adenta barrier if you are driving into the Dodowa Road. There is a place called Mante Farms. We are located 50 meters on the left away from the junction if you are driving from the Adenta direction.
So, as a businessman, as a layman, as a civilian, I have been able to purchase a car at a very high cost. How are you going to prolong the lifespan of the car? Can you briefly take us through? Certain things I as a layman, a businessman, somebody who has no idea about car servicing, how do I prolong the lifespan of my newly purchased car?
So thank you very much. So we have two different types of vehicle acquisition, especially here in Ghana. That's vehicles that are acquired as an already used vehicle, or brand new vehicles. Okay. So depending on which type of vehicle you are acquiring, I think for our location, most of our vehicles in the neighborhood of 60 to 70% are what we call home use vehicles. So we'll put a lot of attention on those vehicles because if you are going to a brand new vehicles are vehicles that haven't been used or exactly, so at least they don't come with certain risks. But if you are going to buy a home use vehicle, even before you acquire the vehicle or you become the owner of the vehicle, you need to make certain decisions that will, at the end of the day, translate into prolonging that lifespan of the vehicle. Because if you have a vehicle that has not been checked very well, you may be inheriting problems from the previous owner, which is going to shorten the lifespan of that vehicle that you are rather seeking to prolong. So the first thing is, if you are a layman, let's say you haven't had any experience with vehicle before, the thing is to identify a good technician or a good mechanic who he himself understands the dynamics or the working principles of a vehicle, and to be able to identify or kind of troubleshoot a good or a bad vehicle. So once you identify that person, the person kind of and also it depends on the usage or the need for the vehicle. Every person who plans to have a vehicle or own a vehicle may have a certain need, and you need to prioritize your needs. Which of them? Is it a vehicle that I want to use for maybe just town riding? Is it a vehicle I want to use for highway drive? Is it a vehicle I want to use for haulage of goods and other products? Is it a vehicle I want to use on a farm or whatever? So all those things depend or determine what kind of vehicle you will acquire. For instance, if you live in a very rough terrain and you are going to have a vehicle that has a very low clearance, already you have set up yourself for failure. You understand? Because you live in a place that is not tarred. When it rains, there's a lot of problems. The terrain is not good. So you have to kind of look for an off-road vehicle. You understand? So you need to make certain initial decisions that will kind of help you even before you acquire the vehicle. So the use for the vehicle or the need for the vehicle is very important.
So depending on the communities we live in, we look at our roads, our community, before we even decide as to buying a car that is very down or a car that has a high. Okay.
Exactly. And also what are you going to be using the vehicle for? Okay. Am I the type that maybe I just started and I'm into construction? So when I get up in the morning, I have to pick cement, I have to pick other construction materials into a vehicle. Then a sedan type of vehicle, that's what the thing we call saloon cars or whatever, it's not good for you for that kind of thing. I may advise you look for something like a truck or a pickup so that it can help, because those ones are robust and can help you. So if you are going to be working on the farm or you are a construction guy, people call you to come to site, people call you to come and inspect projects for them. You don't want to go in for a saloon car because newly constructed areas, the roads are not good, the terrains are not good. So then you may be overutilizing the assets and you will shorten the lifespan. So where you live, what you are going to use the vehicle for, and also whether you are a first-time user or you have an experience with a vehicle also matters. Because for a first-time user, you have no idea about a vehicle and you can't depend on the mechanic every time, because if you are not lucky and you fall in the hands of a very bad mechanic, he may give you wrong advices that might shorten the lifespan of that vehicle. Okay. So we advise people, if you are a new driver, first-time vehicle owner, you kind of shy away from certain vehicles until you develop that experience and you are driving, you can listen to the vehicle, you can smell the vehicle or whatever, then you can start going for certain vehicles.
Before you continue with the next point, it means we've had about 3 things we need to do to prolong the lifespan. That is, 1, we look at our community where we are living, our roads, before we decide which car to buy. Exactly. Secondly, not to use the car for
what it's not designed for.
Okay, so like using a saloon car, you use the name sedan. Good. Because when you see saloon car no, you say ba ko de sedan. Me pa cho you say answer na beto car no, hwe baby a wote, hwe wa kwan, se kwan ne ye erosion ni ade nsuo to a hot sen ansa we hu car obeto se wo to car e wo fom ana wo to de a e wo soro se de be ye be boa wo san to car na emfa car no enye ne ense se wo de ye ukura saloon car ukura sedan car se ne etie ketwa car ye de flex e chilling car e boiling car now dey fa cement wako wasifie na yakoto bidie na o pesa wo impress wasenti now the sedan car na kofa bidie crash yes me nka nkire wo se jai enye ku car no. Is that not it?
Exactly. So the next one. Then the next one thing that you say, sometimes you have a certain bulk money. Okay. You also need to look at your source of income, whether you have that continuous flow of income to be able to take care of the vehicle. Let's say, for instance, I just won the lottery or I won one contract then I've gone for a high-end vehicle. Now I'm going to be keeping that vehicle for a certain duration. How do I keep that vehicle on the road? So you say that you acquired a vehicle, but then the subsequent things you have to do on the vehicle, it's like the routine servicing, you are not able to do that because the source of income is not regular or it has cut, but you still want to kind of maintain that or keep that vehicle. So what it means is you'll be skipping your maintenance schedules, and it's like at the end of the day, it's just a matter of time, then that car will break down. So you have to, it's like you need to live within your means when it comes to vehicle acquisition. Don't go for a vehicle that will kind of stretch you when it comes to finances. So you should have a vehicle that when it's time for its servicing, it's like the cash is there for you to be able to service it. So it's also very important.
So before we go to the next point, what should be the longest period for a car to be serviced?
Because of our environment here, so the service, there are different things that I will go into that shortly. Okay. So there are different things that constitute car servicing. So depending on what you want to do, the schedule or the duration is there. For instance, when you want engine oil change, mostly you want to do engine oil change every 3 months here in Ghana because of our weather and the type of oils we have in the system. So at minimum every 3 months you have to do oil servicing. When it comes to transmission oil or fluid, or what we normally call gearbox oil, especially for the automatic transmission vehicles, it depends on the vehicle manufacturer. Some will tell you, those ones come in mileage, not duration specifically. So some will tell you 60,000 kilometers, for instance, that is for Toyota vehicles. The GMs, you could push them to about 80,000 kilometers, 90,000 kilometers. So depending on the vehicle, everything is spelled out in the auto manufacturer's maintenance schedule.
That's good. And Tiabusia say, "Unye sika puduobi prekupe na de koto car na make sure say o hwe baby a unya usika free. Sika no eba bosumi bia unya na wotwe bia unya ansa waka se me koto car na se bia wakotwa loto na wadi loto se bum e bia obi ache usika bi unya ya wase me koto car pacho okoto car ni wi a car no ete se wakoware de bia bebo akoma sana ade ne tie nti na yesa wo soro ya na wo to car timpacho e ya na ya hwe esika sam yie ansa ya toka emrantie na ye ba na afefede enti ye de ye hu wura bi ne nnuama bi mo pamto ya ye hwe yesi kasam yie ansa ya toka esa wo de ba ha aso be esa wo san oye uniska de beto oye esa wo to filter uniska e ben den esa wo se ka na ansa enti se na e be ya wo ka no ebetumi ache enti na ma ye kasa e de achre won aha. So I think our people are very interested in the way the conversation is going. But then with this getting the money in bulk, buying a car without looking at your finances, without looking at where you get your incomes, someone has already made such a mistake. What should a person do?
So that's a very difficult one to deal with because once the car still stays with you, you have to keep up to the schedule. Otherwise, that car breaks down and you can't even sell it off and get any value for it. So personally, if you have a vehicle and you can't maintain it, you can't keep to the maintenance distance, why don't downgrade or maybe sell off that vehicle, acquire a vehicle that is within your financials in terms of maintenance, so that you don't stress yourself, because there's no point driving a high-end vehicle that you can't maintain and maybe 6 months, 1 year, the vehicle breaks down and you come back to the street walking. But if you kind of sell off that vehicle and maybe just get something that is within your means and you can take care of it until such a raining day or such a good day that maybe your finances have improved, then you can climb up to that level. I think that should be my advice to such people.
All right, so I think that's best. So I think we are now on the maintenance, that is the servicing. If you don't have money, you don't check your finances, servicing the car will be a problem. Yeah, so these are some of the things we should look at before we even purchase the car. Yes, so now one has gone to buy the car already. So what are the things that someone owning a car, I am now owning a car, I have bought the car myself, it's in my possession, it is mine. What are some of the things I have to do on daily basis to prolong the lifespan of the vehicle?
Okay, thank you. I think before we get to owning the car, at the point of owning the car, we also have to do something. Okay. Before we go to when the vehicle now becomes yours. So at the point of owning the vehicle, you need to identify a very good technician, a very good workshop, just like the iGarage we do for people all the time, so that that vehicle will thoroughly be examined, because you don't need to buy a vehicle with inherited problems. Because once money has exchanged hands, it's difficult for you to go back to the car owner or the previous owner and tell him that, oh, I have just driven the vehicle for 3 days, 1 week, and all these problems have surfaced. People will not be that reasonable to say, okay, I'll help you to solve it, or I will give your money back to you. So you don't want to. I've seen vehicles that have been newly acquired 1 week, 2 weeks, with gearbox problems, sometimes in the region of 25,000 and above. So you have already paid for your car. Now you have to spend colossal amount of money to be able to do that repair, which you should have avoided. So you need to kind of get in touch with a good technician, a good workshop to do that thorough examination for you. You see, most times it's quite, the irony is somebody has about 200, 300,000 to pay for a car. But when you ask the person, okay, pay 1,500, 2,000 or whatever for a technician to examine that vehicle for you very well and ensure that the car is in good condition before you acquire, that one is too expensive. You understand? So this guy, you can't beat the system. So you hurriedly go and buy this vehicle, then within a shorter duration, it starts giving you problems. The technician will kind of still take the money that you previously had avoided. So please, let's be smart.
This is Ghana. Now,
yeah, that might have saved you from spending 10,000, 20,000 or whatever on a problem that was already existing on the car. So yes, because it's ignorant. Yeah.
So if someone should come to the iGarage and says, I want to buy a car, I need a mechanic or somebody from the iGarage to go and service the car, look at the car, whether it's in a good shape or it's in a good condition to buy. And then you release someone for me. We go and the car is not in a good shape. I have paid 2,000. So if I am taking the same person to a different garage to inspect another car, do I have to pay another 2,000? Or even if I'm taking him to 5 garages to inspect a car for me, it still fall within the payment I have done?
So there are certain things we'll do. Sometimes we use consumables. So if I inspect one vehicle for you and I've exhausted that, I go to the next vehicle, I have to exhaust that and all those things. Or even work, man hours. I inspect this vehicle for you. Let's say I'm charging you for man hours, 1 hour, a certain amount. So we spent 1 hour or 2 hours on car number A, and I advise you that that car is not good. Then we go to car number or car B, and we spend the same man hour or whatever. Obviously, you have to pay for the 2 services rendered, but this is when we need to kind of make some allowances. So we can come and say, okay, beyond 2 inspections, or if we have to do only 1 inspection, this is how much it costs. So every other inspection, you don't need to pay for the full distance, but maybe there's a transportation cost involved. There are some other costs that will get incurred as we move, you understand? So we'll come to that compromise that, okay, you pay 2,000 first, but subsequent inspections, you don't have to pay 2,000. Maybe you just pay 500 or whatever. Or somebody can say, okay, I intend inspecting 5 vehicles before making a decision. You understand? So that 5 vehicles, is unreasonable to charge me 2,000 for each of the 5 vehicles. So let's come to a certain agreed amount that if we inspect the 5 vehicles, then it will fall within that premise. You understand? So it's all about discussion. You need that proud discussion so that each party involved will agree on what is going to be done before it starts.
So I think that's very good. But as to paying to each car, that is why people will say it is expensive. Yes, because if this is the car I'm going to buy and then we come and it goes well, that, oh, the car is good, it's in a good shape, it's in a good condition, you can buy, then I think paying that amount, I'm cool. But when it comes to an end that it's not good, don't buy, then I have to pay that amount. Then I go to another, yes. So I think we will continue from that. Exactly. Yes. So getting someone to inspect the car for you is also another point that we have to look at before buying the car itself. Good. Is there any other thing we have to look at before buying the car?